Hello, welcome to episode 45 of Possibilities Cafe podcast. I'm Karen Barno, your host. Possibilities Cafe podcast is dedicated to women over 50 seeking answers who are beginning to take that spiritual adventure of looking within and asking themselves, what's next? What is on the horizon for me? I've done everything I was supposed to do. Now it's time to do what I want to do. In today's episode, I want to talk to you about the energy of money or the energy of why. I completely screwed that up. I want to talk to you today about the energy of why. Why is one of the most powerful three-letter words you'll ever encounter, because when you start asking why and genuinely listen to the answer, you'd be amazed what you find out. I started on this entrepreneurial journey. I'm CEO of a not-for-profit for the past 25 years, but I got called on a more spiritual path. I became a shaman in about 2012, 2013. But from that point on, it seemed like nothing was really working for me. I know that sounds odd, but I couldn't manifest magic. I couldn't manifest abundance. I was doing okay. I was doing, for me, good, but not where I knew I could be, not where I knew I should be. So I started asking why, and I wrote a book. I don't know if you can see it. It's Blue Rose Bookstore, The Gift of Why. Because when you start asking why takes on an energy, and you'll get the answers you seek if you're willing to listen. So, I've talked about this a couple of times. When 2019 hit, I hit a really bumpy road at my paying job, at my job, where, we had to have some staff turnover, and I really needed to look at myself. I needed to look at the person I had become. And did I like the person I had become? So I started asking a lot of why questions. And over the past 2 years, I will say the person I was, in March, well, I guess we're in April 2019, and the person I am in April 2021 are two radically different people. I look at myself now and I think, I love this Karen. I love this confident Karen who has clarity, because I've started to ask why. And as I say, when you start asking why takes on its own energy. It takes on a positive vibe, because you're telling the universe, I'm seeking answers. I'm seeking the truth. I'm not seeking the answers my inner voice tells me. I'm not seeking the answers the inner child tells me. I am seeking the answers that I must know to become the person I'm supposed to become. And whenever you're ready to step into yourself, when you're ready to start healing your shadows, and, if you follow me on TikTok or in my free Facebook group, Women Over 50, What's Next, you'll see I talk a lot about shadows, because shadows are your key. Because the shadows are the repressed parts of yourself that somebody in your path didn't like. My mom couldn't stand the fact whenever I was the center of attention. Now, I have a big personality. I love to goof around. So sometimes I was the center of attention for good things and bad. But she didn't like it, because when she was growing up, she went to Catholic schools and she was left-handed. And back then, the church believed if you were left-handed, the left hand meant you were the devil. That's why we're seeing so few left-handers now, because her generation didn't want them. I was blessed that when she found out I was left-handed, when she realized that, she was all in on it. She wanted that because she had been held back. But whenever she was the center of attention, being left-handed, she would get, her knuckles just beat raw by the nuns. Or if they thought she talked too much, she had to wear a tongue. Anyway, for her, the center of attention was pain. So she didn't want that for me. So whenever I would be the center of attention, she would yell at me, and, all this stuff, people are making fun of you and putting all these bruises in there. And it took me years because I would be the center of attention. Then when it got to be too much, I'd step back. And then I'd step forward and, I'd realize all the lights are looking at me, and I'd step back. I'd lose, I've lost 80 pounds. I still need to lose 20 more, but I struggled, because as I lost weight, I'd become the center of attention. I'd step back. Well, I healed the shadow during this past 2 years. And now I'm comfortable with it. And that's why you're seeing me take a bigger stage, having a bigger voice. But that's what shadows are. Wrapped in your shadow is your gift of why. Wrapped in my shadows, my mom, was the why I was doing what I did. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out why I could never get traction. Didn't matter what social media, I'd go on Periscope, I'd try them all out. And I couldn't get traction until I went on TikTok. And it was the energy of TikTok. I went on there, I hesitated, but I was like, it's a young kid's game. Finally, a friend of mine who's a tinge older than me went on and she says, Karen, I'm killing it. You need to check it out. So I thought, you know what, TikTok, you're going to scratch my spiritual itch because I really love spirituality. As I said, I'm a shaman. I love all aspects of it. I love the energy of the universe. I love it all. So I thought, I don't really know anybody over there. I have no following. So I'm going to scratch my spiritual itch. And it has just exploded. And everything in my life has exploded. And I realize it's because the universe is finally saying, Karen, you kept asking why. We kept giving you answers. The more whys you asked, the more energy you got. The more energy you got, the more positive you got. The more positive you got, the more grateful you became, the more happy you became. And when you're happy and grateful, the universe will give you everything you want. It just took me all this time to get there. So as you're sitting there and you say to yourself, why aren't things working out? Or why can't I get this way? Ask yourself why, and then listen. Don't ask yourself why, and then keep going about your business. Ask yourself why, and listen to your answers. And you'll know when you're hitting the right answers. You'll know when you're hitting the answers, not your inner voice answers, but the right answers, because your energy level is going to lift up. And all of a sudden, you're going to know you're on the right track. I mean, for all the times you've asked yourself, especially, women, those of us that are over 50, we felt we were on the right track and we wouldn't be. And it's like, when are we going to get on the right track? When you start asking why am I not on the right track? Not when will I start making money? Why am I not making money? Why are my relationships not great? Why don't I have friends? Why this, that, whatever your why is. When you start asking the why question, the energy picks up and you'll wake up one day and be so filled with joy. And if you need help, gosh, go to my website, KarenBarner.com, and let me help you. I have a great online digital course that helps you begin to scratch the surface of shadows. I have a coaching on there for shadows. I am telling you, shadow work is life-changing because it helps you heal your inner voices that were placed there by others. I mean, I did a video over on TikTok. You can check it out, where I was going to Dunkin' Donuts because I had 2 hours before my next meeting. It was the only place I could go. It was air conditioned and they had Diet Coke, 2 keys in Arizona in April. So I went in and I did a TikTok because before I wouldn't have gone in because I would have walked in and I would have thought, oh, they're going to look at this fat lady and think, what is she doing here? She doesn't belong here. And then when I sat there, because they're young kids behind a counter, they're going to be like, how long is this lady going to sit here? This time I walked in, I got a Diet Coke. I sat down as comfortable as could be. Those guys behind a counter, I don't even know if they realized I was still there because they were into their own world. And I wasn't in my head. I wasn't imagining all these conversations they were having about me or the people coming in. Let me tell you, 3:00 at a Dunkin' Donuts is pretty busy. I didn't realize it because I don't drink coffee. People love their coffee. And let's be honest, their donuts are phenomenal. But I'd look at people, kind of smile. I was there bringing kids in after school. And not one time did I think, oh, I bet they're going to be like, why is she sitting here? Or isn't she fat? Isn't she that? Because of the energy of why. I healed my weight problem because of why. Why am I heavy? Keeps me from being, that's right, center of attention. Now, there are different shadows, and I'll have a different podcast to talk about it, but there's minor and major shadows. And minor shadows are the ones that pop up quick. A major shadow is fear of being the center of attention because I am a CEO of a not-for-profit. I am on stage all the time. I do speeches all the time. I travel the state meeting with members all the time. So you would never think being the center of attention was my thing, but I knew it was my thing because I would feel myself shrink. When I opened up the paper, excuse me, and I was on the front page of the paper, I would shrink. If I was in a large event and somebody called me out and said, oh, there's Karen Barner, we're lucky she's here, I would shrink. If I went into a meeting and somebody would jokingly say, you're a legend, I would shrink because it was a shadow. Get into your energy of why. And to recap real quickly, when you're on the right track with why, your energy level will pick up. You'll start being like, okay, I got this. sit down, close your eyes, meditate, and just ask yourself questions. And just, I mean, don't, hit yourself with 50 whys. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did I do? Just pick one and pick an easy one. Why do I not go out with my friends when they ask me to? I don't know. That's all I have. Why do I not date this certain type of person? Why do I not apply myself 100%? I have one client who is phenomenal. She's a CEO and she is hard charging and she is phenomenal, but she never gives 100%. Fascinating. She gives about 50 or 60. Now, in her defense, 50 or 60 is better than most people's hundreds, but she knows she can be more and give more. So she has to find out why she holds back. See, that's how shadows work. But her energy level picks up. She's not always sleeping. She's not pounding coffee, because as you start your healing work, your energy gets going. Learn how to embrace, how to use your energy of why. When you're ready to start healing, the first question you want to ask yourself is, why do I do? And start with the smaller questions. Why do I always reach for a donut? Why do I always reach for a piece of chocolate when things aren't going well? And sit with the answer. Some answers you're going to get right away. And sometimes the first answer that pops in your head is usually the truth, but we filter it because we're like, well, it can't be that easy to answer. Sometimes it is that easy. So let me know if you need any help. If you like this podcast, please give me a review on iTunes. It can be found on Spotify and Arizona, Amazon Music. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give me a subscribe. I try to be on YouTube at least once a week. I think I'm going to pick up my game down and do a little bit more because I TikTok daily. So I'll probably be doing a lot more videos. Now that I'm in my jam, now that I'm in, now that I embrace my spiritual heart. And if you're on Clubhouse, check out, I'm on Clubhouse every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Arizona time, which right now is 8 a.m. Pacific time or 11 o'clock Eastern time. And it's called Spiritual Adventurers Club. It's mine. It's not a club yet. I have to have 3 or 4 meetings that TikTok has. Yes, I love embracing new platforms, giving it a try and seeing if I like it or not. And of course, if you're on TikTok, please give me a subscribe and a like. Talk to you guys later. Here's to you finding your blue rose, your unique calling. And here's to you finding your gift of why. Thanks a lot, you guys.